Okay, this is part 2 of me and the RCMP in Fat Fred City. Now, my troubles with the RCMP began in earnest in 2004. I had gone down to the States after running for Parliament and had served many RCMP officers, had a meeting with the police commission in Fredericton, and went down to answer an unsigned criminal complaint. When I come back into Canada and went to a court in Sussex, New Brunswick in front of my friend Henrik Tonning, this fella here, Norm Plord, where is he? Norm Plord of National Security in Fredericton began calling my friends. As you can see, I contacted Constable Dave Hansen. Now, over the years, now this is way back in 2004, over the years, I believe it was Norm Plord, but it could have been of his associate Kevin Jackson or his buddy Jill Blinn, but they stepped up their attacks against me in earnest with an assumed name called Porcupine Prick and kept challenging me to sue. Anyway, when I made my video in front of the old pancake house, things escalated quite quickly, and as I predicted, they weren't long pouncing on me. The Fredericton City Police took my old Harley. The Crown refused to press charges for reasons I'll show in a minute, and immediately the FBI in Chicago called me. There's their phone number. Their only concern was, did Eddie Greenspan know the same stuff that Patrick Fitzgerald knew as he prosecuted Eddie Greenspan's client, Lord Conrad Black. I told the FBI none of this was their business, but they knew it all anyway. But all that said, Conrad Black's lawyer, Eddie Greenspan, and his other lawyer knew everything. Every RCMP officer I encounter from here on out does not hear one word from me. They get this document from their former boss, Ann McClellan, who admitted something happened between Wayne Easter and I on November the 19th, and a copy of a letter with a complaint number from the Department of Homeland Security, and a true copy of wiretap tape number 139 that does involve the crime known as murder. There should be no need to explain the criminal code to the RCMP. I've done it many times. I will just give any RCMP officer I encounter these two documents and a wiretap tape and say no more, because I am suing the RCMP in short order in federal court. Let's see if I can show that document. Federal court. This is the woman that answered me shortly after Mr. Harper received his mandate in 2006. She acknowledged receiving it. David Gordeau is long gone. Kevin Lynch is still there. His lawyer Paul Shuttle, I'm not sure. Bernard Shapiro, not quite sure if he's around or not, but Andre Arthur is certainly there. Noel Kinsella and Michael Como in the province of New Brunswick are still around. And of course, the Holy Cross House still exists in Fredericton. Jean T. Fournier, I know for a fact, is still hanging his hat in Ottawa. This was received and answered by Miss Willa Doyle, who's been playing dumb since March of 2006. It is her court that I must take these actions in, because, as I said, the RCMP are servants of Her Majesty the Queen according to the Crown Liability Act, and you can only sue Her Majesty the Queen in federal court. All that said, just before the RCMP took me away, I received a lot of challenges in YouTube from unnamed people in Fredericton who wanted me to come to see the Fredericton police at high noon in June. Everybody knows I'm not a shy man. I came to Fredericton, started making some calls. I did talk to a lawyer, too, who knew what phone booth I was calling from. Phone systems are fairly sophisticated in the province of New Brunswick. One day after I made my first calls, once landing in Fredericton, I left my old empty cigarette pack at my phone booth that people teased me about in the Gypsies blog. And underneath it was this. Now, clearly somebody was having a little fun. Took me a while to figure out who was having the fun. I discovered the other day who it was. Sergeant Jill Blinn. I found on the internet in a Google chat room where Dean Roger Ray, the yo-yo from Edmonton, who keeps calling me a Freemason or an RCMP shill or whatever he's in the mood to call me, who talks on and on and on about Freemasons, had sent Jill Blinn an email about Freemasons and me and posted it on the internet. Jill Blinn was having a lot of fun with me. A couple days later, when I was pulled out of the phone booth by Constable Blakey, Jill Blinn, in plain clothes in an unmarked car, tried to run my friends off. Even though he would not identify himself, but tried to claim that he was Kevin Jackson. This is not very funny, Jill Blinn. And throughout the summer, I've called you any number of times. You won't return calls. You won't answer emails. And yet you allow Dean Roger Ray, Deputy Dog Robert F. O'Mara, and that strange cat from Port Hardy, BC, Dana Durford, to assault my children on the internet. Slander is slander. That cyber tip place in, where is it, Manitoba? They got, what, a couple of $1 million from the Stockwell Day? They care about every other minor children but mine? Dana Durford even went as far as to mention my 2-year-old grandbaby, her mother, my 14-year-old daughter, my son, who's all are minors except for my oldest daughter, and slam their reputations? For the record, Jill Blinn, my daughters do not do the things that Dana Durford claims they do. I will send Port Hardy, BC, Chris Stewart registered letter along with Dana Durford and those strange cyber tip people out west registered letter. Since you want to send me DVDs, why shouldn't I send your friends wiretap tapes? Murder is murder, correct? And I was told by Ann McClellan to give it to the RCMP. Anyway, I'll say something else in a minute. I got so much to say and there's just so much time between YouTubes. But all that said, here's the original wiretap tapes. I got a bunch of them. Cops better take a wide berth of me. Who knows where I'll run for Parliament, against who, if at all. But the first of several lawsuits will be filed in short order. RCMP are at the top of the list, thanks to Ann McClellan, and the fact that Constable Blakey made false allegations against me to a medical doctor. Somebody better do the right thing. The little fellow from Guadalajara, I think he's going to have another panic attack once he receives a registered letter. Toodaloo.